Ladies and gentlemen, game one of the NBA Finals just concluded last night, and you see the smile on my face? You see the smile on my face? Woo! What a great game. What a great game that we watched live on Twitch last night at twitch.tv/BSOLZ. 107-89, game one victory for the Boston Celtics. Obviously, it is game one, so, I don't want to overreact. This is just the start of the series. We can get blown out game two. This could be our last win, theoretically speaking, right? But a lot of questions, in my opinion, were answered. Everyone has been doing their NBA Finals breakdown, NBA Finals predictions, what to look forward to in these finals. And I feel like a lot of things were answered in terms of, initially, just what the matchups were going to look like, what were the key points of every single game. Not necessarily, I'm not expecting these type of stat lines to be consistent throughout the whole series. Specifically, Kyrie Irving going 6-19. I don't expect him to be a 12-point per game scorer the rest of the series. But I guess let's start off with the Boston Celtics. My goodness. Came out the gate not necessarily swinging, actually, because I believe there was a timeout called when the score was like 16-16. So, the opening tip of the game was actually a pretty decent back and forth. But I believe closer to the second half of the first quarter, that's when things started to slip away. Yeah, as you can see right here, 11-12, 13-12, 15-17, right? 15-17, Derek White hits a three. It becomes 20, 21, 22, so right here, 5 minutes left in the first quarter, it was still 18-24, and was it at the end? It becomes 26. Porzingis dunks right here. Porzingis hits a jump shot. At the end of, right here, at the end of the, this one right here in the last 2 minutes of the first quarter just blew the game away, right? Tatum hits a pull-up three. It's now an 11-point game. Porzingis hits a crazy deep three. Swishes it, right? Swishes it. Gets a block on the other end. Rebound. Sam Hauser in the corner. Just like that, in a matter of, 10, 20 seconds? It went from an 11, not 20. In a matter of 40 seconds, oh my God, the lead went from 11 points all the way to 17 now, and that's how the quarter ends. Just like that, with the Celtics up by 17 in a relatively short amount of time span. And then the rest of the game, they just played keep away. But for the Celtics, Kristaps Porzingis looked good, looked great. Once again, I think the end of the first quarter was really, really big as in terms of blowing this game open. And Kristaps Porzingis, in my opinion, was the biggest part of that on both ends of the court. I think there were so many questions about Porzingis and his health going into this game, how effective he was going to be, the rust factor of him being out for 5 weeks, all of these things. And the way he played out there, I still think he was moving a little bit slower than I would like. Defensively, that 5 switch onto Luka, I still think Al Horford did a much better job on that switch than Kristaps Porzingis, especially if you look at Luka's shots. But nevertheless, Kristaps Porzingis provided advantages that, once again, I've been saying just transformed this Boston Celtics team to a whole different beast. Adds another layer to an offense that is already really good and can get away with things because of the amount of perimeter threats that they have. By having that mid-range post presence in Kristaps Porzingis, while allowing you to have a really effective pick and pop game, while still being, a lob threat at the rim, while being, I ain't gonna lie, he looked like a better rim protector than Rudy Gobert out there, I will say that. But still giving you really good rim protection at the very least, if you don't want to stretch it out to Rudy Gobert. Kristaps Porzingis is definitely one of the most important figures in this series, and he showed his value game one last night after being out for so many so many games, right? So many weeks. So shout out to him. I think he slowed down in the second half, though. A lot of his damage was in the first half. First half he had 18 points. Second half, he only had 2, I believe. Yeah, he only had 2 on 1 of 4. But nevertheless, you know, he was effective in that first half, and we needed all 18 points for this game to pan out the way that it did. You know what I'm saying? In other news, other aspects, Jaylen Brown, oh my goodness. I'm going to say oh my goodness a lot in this fucking series, man, but wow. Continuing to show his value, especially after signing that Supermax, continuing to make really big, timely shots. And I really love the fact that in this game specifically, but throughout the whole playoffs, one thing I was looking for from Jaylen Brown this season was to establish his two-way presence again, to establish his ability to affect the game on both ends of the court and reestablish his defensive identity. Last season, I felt like he was too focused on being the number 2 option, scoring option on the team, that it did take away from his ability to focus on the defensive end. But because of his role this season, he is doing the things that I would like for him to do. Be a dog on the defensive end, be a monster in transition, hit spot up threes, and if you can create in the mid-range and create off the dribble, that'd be fantastic. But those 3 first things, if you can just hit on those, that's great. That's great. Early in the game, you know what I'm saying? Getting steals on Luka. 3 steals and 3 blocks in this game. You know what I'm saying? Really good rim protection in the second half, which was really surprising to me how well the Celtics defended the rim. Just because I really thought that was going to be a pain point for them, even with Kristaps Porzingis out there, because you know that the Dallas Mavericks do get to the paint relatively effectively. They got elite finishers at the rim with Luka, with Kyrie, you know, efficient play finishers with Derek Lively and the Daniel Gaffords of the world. But Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown specifically, stepping up defensively, along with Al, along with Kristaps Porzingis to help, you know, make the paint not as effective as it could be, was definitely really big for this team. Al Horford may be the least talked about player in this game, but boy, yo, I watched it on Twitch last night. Al Horford defending that Luka 5 switch. Al Horford, listen, I'm not gonna say he's a Luka stopper. Obviously, I'm not gonna go there, but I just think in terms of that question right there, how Al Horford was playing defense last night made the game so much easier for the rest of the team. Just because if we're living, because if the game plan is, all right, let's live with the Al Horford 5 switch, right? And if Luka cooks, Luka cooks. If Al Horford is going to continue to play defense like that and contest Luka's shots like that, oh yeah, we're living with Luka just cooking. Because we're closing out on everyone else. We're locking down. We're not helping. If Al Horford is gonna play like that, oh yeah, we're living with that. We're living with that. So if y'all haven't paid attention to Al Horford's defense last night, I would encourage y'all to do that, because I really think it was such an underrated part of yesterday's game. Jason Tatum, let me answer the elephant. Oh, also, I didn't notice that Peyton Pritchard was 0 of 7. Jeez, Peyton, you gotta tee up. But Jason Tatum, 6 of 16, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block. I feel like the biggest negative that was taken from this game, predictably, especially with this type of stat line, is Jason Tatum, once again, being able to get away with mediocre, subpar performances while, you know, having the privilege of being on a team where, you know, you can have these, honestly, stinker-ass games and survive and win and blow out championship-level teams, you know? I will say this, like I've been saying all playoffs long. Again, this is not bail, because I watched Jason Tatum last night. I looked at his shot attempts as well. Jason Tatum did not play good in terms of his scoring, which is the thing that we are paying him for. I can't lie. You know what I'm saying? We are going to be paying this dude supermax money to be a 27, 28, 30 point per game scorer. You know, if there is one elite skill that he's supposed to be elite at, it should be scoring. That's what we all know Jason Tatum for, right? And for him to have 6 of 16 games and still win, I'm not going to sit here and act like that isn't a luxury, right? I'm not going to sit here and act like that isn't a luxury. But like I've been saying throughout the whole playoffs, Jason Tatum's impact, in my opinion, does now go way beyond the box score. And I really do love the fact that I saw it last season, but prior to last season, Jason Tatum was not this good all around, bro. Jason Tatum was not able to affect the game in other aspects as much as he is right now. You know what I'm saying? And again, it is a privilege that he can perform the way that he's performing. But in terms of putting pressure on the defense with his drives, shifting the defense in terms of making the right passes, even though he still had 6 turnovers, which again is a sign that he had a relatively bad game still. Defensively, again, being really integral to not allowing the paint presence to be as effective as it was, right? Switching on to the guards and Luka at times. Like that, those things are still very important that I saw last night. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I think I've come to the conclusion that Jason Tatum, his ceiling or his average, which I feel like when we talk about top 5 tier 1 players, your average night really does play a factor into that. His average night is not as high as those other players, right? But I would actually make the argument that his floor, Jason Tatum's bad nights have become one of the best, one of the highest floors in the league. And maybe that's Bale, maybe that's whatever. But I just know there's a decent amount of players in this league where a bad night for them, like what else are you doing on the court? You know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna be playing defense. You may not even be playmaking. You're truly just settling for jump shots, and you just live with those results. But nah, Jason Tatum's not one of those dudes. That's all I gotta say on Jason Tatum. I don't want to make this a Jason Tatum suck fest or a cope fest. If that's what y'all are gonna make it out to be. But nevertheless, in terms of what the Celtics can work on moving forward, Jason Tatum, even with me not really having much critique, I guess, for his shot selection in terms of just the threes, right? Like I don't believe Jason Tatum should be a player that's taking 2 threes a game. Contrary to popular belief, I still think he needs to get those shots up. I still think he needs to keep the defense honest with his jump shot, with his mid-range pull-up and all of that. Even with that context in mind, there were a lot of times last night where Jason Tatum still should have attacked the rim, and he settled for contested 2s. Now, one of them he did make, but nah, we're not settling for contested 2s. He had Derek Lively or Maxi Kleber on a couple switches and just settled for a step back 3. Like, I don't know what that is, but yeah, JT can definitely play better. Peyton Pritchard, 0 of 7, 0 of 5 from 3. That's unacceptable. Obviously Peyton Pritchard is a guy that pushes the pace once he comes into the game, but 0 of 7 is crazy. 0 of 7 is crazy. And honestly, outside of that, if everyone keeps on performing the way that they're performing, I still think the Celtics are in good shape. I think the game plan that I had for the Celtics was honestly executed. Obviously, I'm not the fucking coach, and I didn't tell them what to do. But I said going into the series, you know, attack the switches, make Luka and Kyrie work, and as much as you can, easier said than done, do not keep the game close. Do not keep the game close. Do not go for a back-and-forth game against the Dallas Mavericks. Do not go into clutch time situations with the Dallas Mavericks, because Luka and Kyrie, in those clutch time situations, they will forget about the last 46 minutes of the game. They will. And they will just lock the fuck in, and that's a scary sight to see. So yeah, I think the Celtics played well. Continue it on. It's going to be easier said than done. But this is the game. Oh, also, whatchamacallit? Let Luka cook. Let Luka cook. As crazy as that sounds, I am living with Luka putting up 30 to 35 points a game. And if he's going to keep shooting the way that he did in game 1, yeah, I'm living with a performance like that. Luka can average his 30 points, 10 rebounds. If we can limit his assists to somehow 3 to 4 assists a game, which again, I don't think is going to happen because I think Luka will also make adjustments. That would be fantastic. But let Luka cook and lock in on everyone else. I think what is going to make the series competitive is when you already can't stop Luka. He's already giving you 30 regardless of what's happening on the court. And then you got PJ Washington giving you 19 and 20. You know what I'm saying? When Derek Lively is giving you another 10 to 12 points out there. When Kyrie is giving you close to 25 to 30 points a game. You know what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, lock in on everyone else. Let Luka cook. That was the game plan last night. We forced Derrick Jones Jr. to make decisions. We forced Daniel Gafford's and the Derek Lively's to make decisions, and we damn near neutralized their effectiveness as well. Great game plan. Great game plan from the Boston Celtics. As far as the Dallas Mavericks, that 5 switch was definitely 5 switching. You just got to live with that switch at times, bro. I think executing perfectly on defense is such an ideal thing that, you should be doing, but it's not in the course of an actual game. It's not gonna happen. And when Luka did have those switches onto a Porzingis, who is more slow-footed big man than Al Horford, he definitely did take advantage. Luka was still very effective at the rim. You know what I'm saying? I felt like Luka definitely settled for way more threes than he should have. If he can get this to maybe 7 or 8 right here and focus more on that floater game to keep the defense honest in the mid-range. They got to respect that. Now they got to step up. That allows for, the paint not necessarily to be wide open, but if the help on the pick and roll or if the help on the weak side is just going to help up instead of leaving you open because you're just not taking those shots, that may open up opportunities for Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington and even Derrick Jones Jr. to be more bigger parts of the game. That can open up the lob game for the Dallas Mavericks, which is a really important part of that game for them. Kyrie. Also, before we go to Kyrie, Luka having 1 assist is crazy. Again, I truly do think that's more so a testament to how the Celtics guarded everyone else and just let Luka cooked and let Luka score. Not necessarily let Luka score, but just live with the isolation buckets from Luka and clamped out on everyone else and not let everyone else get into rhythm. But yeah, this 1 assist right here, I think that was really telling of how the game went last night. Also, 9 assists from the team as a whole compared to 23 for the Celtics. There was a lot made about the Celtics being the team with the more stagnant offense, but the Dallas Mavericks on nights like this are just right there because this is a heliocentric offense. This is a team that revolves around Kyrie and Luka's playmaking, and when nights where that can get neutralized, boy, it looks ugly out there for them. That's all I'm going to say. It looks ugly out there for them. But yeah, speaking of Kyrie, 12 points on 6 of 19 shooting. I can't lie, man. Kyrie was missing wide open shots. The Celtics did a really good job at contesting some of his mid-range pull-ups. Maybe this is too much bail, but I truly think this was just a off night for Kyrie. This was just an off night for Kyrie. I think, we replay last night, give it a different seed, and this 6 of 19 could have easily been, 11 of 19. And, the stretch where the Mavs cut it down to 8, that may be a tie ball game right there. You know what I'm saying? If Kyrie just hits certain shots that he typically hits. So, if there is a point of contention in terms of why the Mavs lost this game, I think the 2 biggest factors is Kyrie and Derrick Jones Jr. Oh my goodness, Derrick Jones Jr. was ass in this game, bro. I don't give a fuck about these 6 rebounds. Defensively, he wasn't like a defensive juggernaut as well. He wasn't Andrew Wiggins out there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Derrick Jones Jr. is making a lot of some of them. He was just straight up getting blocked at the rim. But just a lot of bad attempts. Just a lot of bad attempts from Derrick Jones Jr. Let's look at some of his missed field goals if we can quickly here. Cause some of them I'm gonna keep the screen moving around just cause, but some of them was just really bad. Wide open 3. Okay, he made that. Oh yeah, he actually made the first 3 for the Mavs, but wide open 3 again, clank. But that's a good shot. That's a good shot. Derrick Jones Jr. Here we go. At the rim, over 2. Okay, that's a bad shot. That's a bad shot. I don't know what Derrick Jones Jr. thought was gonna happen. Derrick Jones Jr. left drive to the rim, makes it. All right, that's the second made shot, and everything else is a miss from here on out. Driving it on 3, Derrick Jones Jr., who do you think you are? All right. Kyrie Irving misses a wide open 3 right there. Those are the shots that I'm talking about. Like, yo, Kyrie just got to hit that. Right there, if Kyrie hits that, that's 62-72. Derrick Jones Jr., is that a shot attempt? If that's a shot attempt, I guess it's crazy. Gets blocked essentially twice by Jaylen Brown. You know, Derrick Jones Jr., here we go. Oh, okay. So that is 2 field goal attempts. Now, that's actually crazy. So he got blocked twice by Jaylen Brown. Officially on the box score. He got blocked twice by Jaylen Brown. Derrick Jones Jr., again, goes up on Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know who... Well, listen, that's his thing, but... Boy, that's... Stop. On 3 again, Derrick Jones Jr., what are you doing? What are you doing? So, Derrick Jones Jr. just forcing a lot of things at the rim on like 2 to 3 defenders, in my opinion, was killing them. I don't think they hit any corner threes in this game. You know, like PJ still had his 14, but he went 0-3 from the field. The Mavs shot 7 of 27 from 3, and especially when the Celtics are shooting fucking 42 threes on 38%. Hey, man, the math game is going math out. And really the only one hitting their threes was Luka, and Luka still was at 33%. You know what I'm saying? Just... And the presence of Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively just was not felt last night, bro. Derek Lively got into foul trouble. Daniel Gafford, I mean, he had 3 field goals, but I felt like, yeah, Derek Lively just got more minutes than him. So maybe they're just rolling with Derek Lively more than Daniel Gafford nowadays. I don't know. Josh Green coming off the bench. Maxi Kleber. For a guy that I think can stretch the floor. Yeah, Maxi Kleber, there was one possession where he just had a wide open 3, and he just didn't even look at the fucking rim. Tim Hardaway Jr. even got some minutes in this game, like unironically, not on some garbage time minutes. And that bench is looking sus. Long story short, man, that bench is looking sus. I don't think there's enough shot creation and playmaking off that bench. And those non-Kyrie Luka minutes are going to be some long non-Kyrie Luka minutes for the Dallas Mavericks in the series. Because I think the team with the smaller margin for error will be the Dallas Mavericks. The team that needs to execute more to perfection than the other is the Dallas Mavericks, because of the fact that there is a talent gap between these two teams. But nevertheless, man, I had this being a 5-game series. I honestly had the Boston Celtics losing game 1. I thought this was going to be the game that everyone goes crazy for. This was going to be the game that makes everyone doubt the Celtics even more. I haven't seen Jason Tatum memes on a timeline for 3 to 4 weeks now, and, you know, at some point they got to come back, you know? So I just really thought this was the game right here. Celtics in 5, but at this point, I know about the game 2 Celtics. I do know about the game 2 Celtics. So, but I like our chances next game, and I just really like the game plan. If this is the game plan, I like this game plan right here. I really do. I still got Celtics in 5, but I'm leaning towards that one loss being in Dallas now. I will say that. I'm leaning towards that one loss being in Dallas. Hopefully the Boston Celtics can now prove me right by winning game 2. Yeah, we will be watching every single NBA Finals game on twitch.tv/BSOLZ. And with that being said, I'm going to catch y'all Sunday/Monday morning. Peace.